Good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on MITV. I am Tomi Ujo. I'll begin tonight with our headline stories. The federal government backs collection of VAT by FIRS. And reps seek release of Nigerians detained illegally abroad. APC postpones state congresses by 2 weeks. In foreign news, UNHCR blasts UK's planned immigration law. In sports, UEFA urges FIFA to stop pushing two-year World Cup plan. And now the news in detail. Ondo and Delta State governors have chided Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai for accusing the southern governors of politicizing the farmer and header clash with the enactment of the anti-open grazing law. They accused El-Rufai of playing to the gallery and encouraging anarchy, with his opposition to the collective decision of his 17 colleagues in the South. El-Rufai had on Tuesday wondered why the Southern governors were pushing to enact laws prohibiting open grazing in their respective states after their colleagues in the North had resolved that ranching was the way out of the clashes between the headers and farmers. But Ondo and Delta State governors said there was no wisdom in the comment of the governor, who is known for talking out of turn. Also, Osun State Governor Adegboyega Oyetola has defended the state's anti-open grazing law, saying it was meant to safeguard the lives of their residents. Ondo State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Donald Ojogo, said going by the comment, El-Rufai was plotting to externalize banditry. It is apt, he said, to state clearly that the likes of the governor of Kaduna State are already in a hysteric mode of escalating and indeed externalizing banditry, especially as the military onslaught against criminal elements and other terror variants suffices in the north. The federal government says the Federal Inland Revenue Service FRS will continue to collect value-added tax following the ruling of the Court of Appeal on the matter. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami told newsmen in New York while speaking on the disagreement over the collection of VAT between the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Rivers State government. The Chief Law Officer of the Federation explains that the ruling of the Court of Appeal that FRS and the Rivers State government maintained status quo favored the FRS. He said it was Federal Inland Revenue Service that had been collecting the VAT before the dispute arose, over which the Rivers State government approached the High Court. Malami said the position of not only the federal government, but indeed the judiciary is the fact that status quo associated with collection of VAT should be maintained. And the House of Representatives has urged the federal government to intervene and secure the release of Nigerians who are being detained illegally in prisons abroad. The House called on the federal government to employ diplomatic means to assist Nigerians who were wrongly convicted and are being detained in various prisons abroad. House of Representatives correspondent Linda Ike reports that the Committees on Foreign Affairs, Justice and Interparliamentary Relations and Diaspora Affairs were mandated to ensure compliance. These resolutions followed a motion on the need to ascertain the number of Nigerian citizens being jailed in foreign prisons. Honorable Dennis Idahose also spoke at that instance. The Nigerians at different countries all over the world making exploits in sports, technology, business, education and politics have also been ranked as one of the highest educated immigrants in foreign countries. He noted that due to the large population of the Nigerian diaspora community, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission NIDCOM was established to provide for the engagement and participation of Nigerians in the diaspora in the development of Nigeria.
We need our Chief Polytechnic to play that kind of pivotal role in training our people into having technical degrees. You understand? So even you see that even the HND, the discrepancy.
Worried that from 2019 survey reports by the Legal Defense and Assistant Project Labor, about 16,500 Nigerians who are in prison outside the country were convicted without illegal representation and without legal representation and not knowing why they are in jail. Believe that the federal government needs to employ diplomatic means to assist Nigerians who were wrongfully detained and have been detained in various prisons abroad. As a result, they urge the federal government to intervene and secure the releases of Nigerians who are being detained illegally in prisons.
Moving on to other stories. Key leaders of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the North have proposed that the next national chairman of the opposition party should come from the South. The proposal is the highlight of the zoning arrangement they agreed upon at the meeting in Abuja on Tuesday night. It was learned on Wednesday, and the proposal will be tabled as the position of the party's North leaders at a meeting of the leaders of thought with Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. Ugwuanyi, who is the chairman of the Committee on Zoning set up at the last National Executive Committee meeting, has invited leaders to today's meeting to assist the committee to submit a broad-based report on zoning of party offices. The PDP will hold its convention on the 31st of October. The meeting said the position of the committee is that zoning is a Herculean task and it will prefer a broad-based consultation before submitting its report. A senior member of the party said last night the Tuesday night meeting of party leaders agreed not to tamper with the 2017 zoning formula. The 2017 zoning formula led to the emergence of the party's 2019 presidential candidate from the North, while the party chairman came from the South. It believed that if the 2017 formula is adopted, PDP can launch itself back to power in 2023. The recommendations are not final. The National Executive Committee of the PDP will still consider the report of Ugwuanyi's committee. The meeting concluded. And the ruling All Progressive Congress APC has scheduled its nationwide state congresses earlier slated for October the 2nd by 2 weeks. The congresses will now hold nationwide on Saturday the 16th of October. The postponement was announced last night in Abuja in a test statement by the caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee CECPC Secretary Senator John James Akpadu-Nohe. The statement said an updated timetable or schedule of activities and guidelines for the conduct of the state congresses will be released to the public in due course. Contacted, the CECPC secretary said state congresses were postponed in honor of the country's independence celebration and also to allow political office holders and party members the opportunity to mark Nigeria's 61st independence anniversary. The need to honor the country's 61st independence anniversary, which holds a day before the initial date fixed for the state congresses, informed the new date. Governors, ministers, and party members will be involved in the activities of the independence in their various states. Therefore, the party decided to reschedule the state congresses to allow their members to participate. The party had fixed the state congresses for the 2nd of October 2021, but now it's postponed for 2 weeks. Meanwhile, the state chapter of the Lagos State chapter, of the All Progressive Congress APC says its local government Congress appeal committee has not received any petition from aggrieved factions of the party on the conduct of the local government Congress held across the 245 wards of the 20 local governments in the state on the 4th of September. The chairman of the committee, Ibrahim Akaje, while speaking with newsmen at the party's secretariat on Thursday, said the mandate of his committee is to arbitrate between petitioners and officials of the party saddled with the conduct of the APC local government area congresses. He noted that the committee is yet to receive any petition. Therefore, he appealed to all petitioners to feel free without any form of hindrance in presenting their grievances before the committee. A submission is still open till Saturday.
Our task is to arbitrate between the petitioners and those that were saddled with the responsibility of conducting the just concluded APC local government areas congresses here in Lagos State. On this regard, I want to assure all and sundry that as members of this committee, we shall be impartial, be dispensing justice to all accordance with the extant laws, rules and guidelines provided in the APC Constitution and Statutes. So far, the committee is yet to receive any petition. It is incumbent at this junction to appeal to all petitioners to feel free without let or hindrance in the presenting their grievances before the committee.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has arrested a Nigerian Eze who claims to be a tiler by profession at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, with 350 wraps of cocaine worth about 2.3 billion naira street value. The 38-year-old Eze from Oji River in Oji River local government area of Enugu State was arrested during an inward clearance of passengers on Ethiopian airline flight number 911 en route Bamako, Addis Ababa, Abuja. Director of Media and Advocacy, NDLEA headquarters, Abuja, Femi Babafemi, noted that illicit drug weighing about 7.70 kilograms was concealed in 8 parts tucked in different parts of his luggage. The suspect claimed he asked his friend, who is a resident in Brazil, to assist him with some money, but declined and instead told him to pick up a bag with the drugs from a friend of his in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, for a fee of 500,000 naira on a successful delivery to someone whose contact will be sent to him on arrival in Nigeria. The bag is said contains the drugs was given to him at the Addis Ababa airport. Chief Executive Officer of the NDLEA, retired Brigadier General Muhammad Kuba Marwa, said the new NDLEA under his leadership will continue to deal decisive blow on the various cartels trying to turn Nigeria into a hub of illicit drugs. The people of Ikotun, Igodo area of Lagos State have cried out to the state government to urgently come to their rescue as torrential rain has done more havoc on their roads than the blessings from the rain. The LCDA chairman, Akinsoya Lasisi, who led other ESCOs on a tour of a community to ascertain the level of damage caused by the rain at Idowu Anisere Street of the Governor's Road and Gafara Street of Ijegun Road, called on the Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to put rehabilitation of roads on the priority plan of government. A correspondent who visited the area has this report.
It was an eyesore for the level of damages meted out to the residents of Idowu Anisere Street of Governor's Road and Gafara Street of Ijegun Road, both in Ikotun, Igando area of Lagos State, as all sorts of movement in the area became standstill. The continuous heavy downpours have not only turned the road to a no-go area, but the households have been put under 24/7 surveillance of imminent flood in the abode. Leading the pack of the executive members, the SCDA chairman, Akinsoya Lasisi, appealed to the state government to consider the rehabilitation as an urgent action so as to save the lives and properties of the people.
You can see all our mothers here, our fathers and brothers. We are appealing to our governor Sanwo-Olu Babajide, to come to our aid in Idowu Anisere Street under Igondo Kotun SCDA. We need this help because if you see our mothers here, they are very old. Even our children, they can't go to school. If this flood started, they can't go to school. They will stay at home. And we all know that the children is the leader of tomorrow. They need to go to school, and we need to care for them. For our governor to help us out, they should come down to our SCDA, Idowu Anisere Street, to come to our aid, to stop this flood problem. We got that the flood is coming down from Governor Road, down to this road, down to these streets. We want governor to help us out.
Some of the residents in the area who spoke with my TV lamented the neglect of the area by the past government in the state.
This point, some part of the flood goes to this point, but the moment this place is blocked, every of the flood passed through this area, this street, and that's why we're having the crisis extending to that side. Initially, it was from here to this place, but the moment this place is blocked, the crisis extended to that area. I think that place was sold out. This place was supposed to be a bypass, connecting road to the other streets. So they sold it, and there is nothing, there is little we could do.
Government to please help us. We have suffered a lot in this place. Like Daddy said, our CDA chairman said that time, that it's over 30 years. This place has been like this, and it's getting worse and worse. Landlords have tried their best to maintain, but no. Especially after the road of Jegu Road was constructed. They passed all the water there to this place, and the drainage was not done. And everywhere was scraped out. And people cannot. We used to bring cars to our compounds. Nothing like that. Even bicycle cannot pass. So the school children are not safe in this area. Nobody is safe. So it's very serious and pathetic.
Recalled that the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has predicted normal to above normal rainfall season in 2021 across the country, while Lagos, Ogun, Kebbi, and Niger State are predicted to experience later than normal rainfalls.
We'll now take a quick break. When we return, we'll bring you stories from the forums. Welcome back. The United Nations Refugee Agency, UNHCR, has said Thursday that Britain's proposed law to implement what it calls the biggest overhaul of asylum rules in decades undermines established international refugee protection rules. The Interior Minister Priti Patel, a prominent supporter of Brexit, where taking back control of immigration was a key campaign issue, said the current system was overwhelmed. Instead, she said the proposed new law will be based on the genuine need of refugees, not on the ability to pay people smugglers. But the UNHCR said the bill will penalize most refugees seeking asylum in the country via damaging and unjustified penalties, creating an asylum model that undermines established international refugee protection rules and practices. Whether people enter the Great Britain illegally or illegally, it will affect how their asylum claim progresses under the proposal. Patel said when unveiling the plan in March that if people arrive illegally, they will no longer have the same entitlements as those who arrived legally, and it will be harder for them to stay. A second data breach by Britain's Ministry of Defense has exposed the email addresses of dozens more Afghans who may be eligible for relocation in the United Kingdom, potentially risking their safety. On Thursday, the latest blunder saw officials mistakenly copy 55 people into an email, making their details visible to all recipients. The individuals, at least one of whom was a member of the Afghan National Army, were reportedly asked to update their details because UK relocation officials had been unable to contact them. A spokesperson for the MOD told newsmen the department was aware of the error, which took place earlier this month by its Afghan relocation and assistance policy team. The spokesperson said steps have been taken to ensure it doesn't happen in the future, while apologizing to those affected, saying extra support is being offered to them. This week, the Defense Secretary instigated an investigation into data handling within the team. Workers are currently laying down asphalt in the high security end of the camp where deportees will be held. But the overall shape of a new 15-hectare, about 37-acre refugee reception center on the Greek island of Samos is clear. A large central area contains neighborhoods of color-coded mobile housing units for Arabic speakers: green, Afghan, blue, people of African origin, red. There are shared play areas for football, basketball, and volleyball. A purple area is set aside for COVID-19 quarantine. A separate section will process new arrivals. Some of the 350 asylum seekers bussed here earlier this week and were grateful to be moved from an old camp in Samos' main town of Vati, which is set to be bulldozed. Built for 700 people, it has ended up housing 9,000. People arriving from Turkey, 1.5 kilometers just a mile away across the Aegean Sea, had built a shanty town of tarpaulin huts nailed into frames of salvaged lumber. And there was relative calm in Melbourne on Thursday after 3 days of anti-lockdown protests that led to violent confrontations with police in Australia's second biggest city, with officers out in force on the streets of the city centre. Footage shared on social media showed police in central Melbourne checking people's reasons for being outside. Officers were also on patrol at vaccination centres amid concern that they could be a target for protests. The Age newspaper said the Melbourne Town Hall facility was closed after workers there were spat on and abused on Wednesday. The city of 5 million has been in strict lockdown for 7 weeks as the authorities struggle to curb an outbreak of the fast-spreading Delta variant of COVID-19. Hundreds of people joined protests this week after authorities announced they would close building sites for a fortnight and make vaccination mandatory for all construction workers after the emergence of a number of clusters emerged connected to the industry. Unions and police have blamed far-right groups for stirring unrest, but police tactics have also raised concerns. We'll now take another break. When we come back, we'll bring you sports stories. Welcome back. In sports stories, European football's governing body UEFA has urged FIFA to stop pushing its plan for a 2-year World Cup and instead to engage in genuine consultation over reform of the international match calendar. FIFA is conducting a feasibility study into holding the World Cup on a biennial basis, a change from the current 4-yearly cycle, but has made no secret of its desire to switch to such a format. Arsene Wenger, the former Arsenal manager who is now FIFA's head of global football development, said this month it was 100% convinced of the switch. UEFA said on its website it was disappointed with the methodology adopted, which has so far led to radical reform projects being communicated and openly promoted before having been given, together with other stakeholders, the chance to participate in any consultation meeting. It said there were numerous concerns about the impact of such a switch, including the dilution of the World Cup's value, risk of players being overworked, and women's football suffering from annual men's tournaments. Manchester United FC forward Cristiano Ronaldo has reclaimed top spot in the list of world's highest paid soccer players from Lionel Messi, according to Forbes. Ronaldo, 36, rejoined United from Juventus in August after 12 years away, while Messi has swapped boyhood club FC Barcelona to join Paris Saint-Germain. Forbes said Ronaldo, among the world's most popular athletes with over 500 million followers across Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, is set to make about $125 million before taxes in the 2021-2022 season. He will also earn $70 million from salary and bonuses at Manchester United. The rest will come from endorsements and partnerships with brands like Nike, Herbalife and CR7 brand. The salary with an additional $35 million from endorsement for total expected earnings of $110 million. The Argentine striker partner PSG Neymar, who in May signed a new contract with 2025, is third on the list with total earnings of $95 million. Kylian Mbappe would earn $43 million and is fourth on the Forbes list, while Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah is fifth with $41 million. And former world number 1 Naomi Osaka unsurprisingly withdrew from October's Indian Wells Masters, having flagged a break from tennis following her U.S. Open meltdown. Osaka's absence was confirmed by organizers on Wednesday, with the Indian Wells Masters scheduled to take place from the 4th of October to the 17th of October after the 2020 edition was cancelled due to the coronavirus pandemic. Her U.S. Open title defense came crashing down in a remarkable 5-7, 7-6 and 7-2, 6-4 third-round capitulation at the hands of eventual finalist Leila Fernandez earlier this month. The 4-time major champion Osaka lost a cool and composure after throwing a racket 3 times in a non-successful second set tiebreak. Amid boos in New York, Japanese star Osaka was also warned after hitting a ball into the crowd at Flushing Meadows. After the surprise exit, Osaka told reporters she planned to take a break from playing for a while. And that brings us to the end of our primetime news tonight. Let's quickly take a recap of the top stories before we go. The federal government has backed the collection of VAT by the FRS, according to the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami. And the House of Representatives seek the release of Nigerians detained illegally abroad and has commissioned NIDCOM to take charge of that. APC postponed state congresses by 2 weeks. And in foreign news, the United Nations HCR blasts UK's planned immigration law. In sports, UEFA urges FIFA to stop pushing the 2-year World Cup plan. Thanks for joining us on our Primetime News tonight. For more detail, do visit our website www.mytvonline.ng or watch any of our programs on our Facebook or YouTube pages. I am Tomi Singh. Would you have a pleasant night rest? Good night.